Can you define creativity?
Well, that is a really difficult question. I think creativity is the urge to make something, to create something, and it's also a way to express yourself. But that's something we all do, but then we call it a hobby or guilty pleasure because we all draw, bake cakes, sing, do whatever we like to do to express ourselves, but only when we're extremely good at it. Then we talk about creativity.
Do you think creativity is something that can be learned or developed, or is it one of those things that you are simply born with or not?
We are all born with it. You just have a look at children. I mean, they are extremely creative. I mean, they love to play, draw, they dance, and they do it without shame. And I think we should develop it. When children love to create, we have to develop it. But we are born with it. I'm sure about that.
When did you first start writing? And when did you realize that this meant you were a creative person?
When I was in law school, I had to write my paper and I really loved it. I enjoyed it very much. But I really started writing in 2006. And I realized that I was a creative writer when my books were published and people enjoyed reading it.
Why do you continue to create? Do you feel like you have a choice?
I don't have a choice anymore. By now, it has become a lifestyle. If I don't write, I become a really pain in the ass, I'm afraid. I worry about everything. So I really need to have this story in my head that I can turn to. No, I don't have a choice anymore.
Can you describe your creative routine? Do you have one? Things you do every single time that you need to write?
I don't have a creative routine. When I have a deadline, I start working in the morning like everybody else. I just sit and start writing and stop when I'm fed up with it. It has become work as well. So, no, I don't have a routine.
Do you have particular things that you do that result in creative ideas or specific places that you like to go to? For example, in the shower, running in the park, visiting an art gallery.
I love to observe. I don't participate in groups or do things with other people very much. I just love to observe, and then I see things and then I get inspired and then stories come up. I think that's the way how it works. Of course, I go to movies and I go to art galleries, especially art galleries because I write about art, but I get inspired by just observing what other people do. And there is also a special place where everything comes together, and that happens to be the shower. When I take a shower, suddenly everything comes together and I know how to continue my writing. But unfortunately, you don't have a pen and paper when you take a shower, so that's always a miserable place to have good ideas popping up.
Do you ever feel creatively blocked? I mean, how do you keep inspired enough to continue creating and writing?
I never feel creatively blocked, never. But, all the shizzle around it, the writing miseries with the publisher and bookstores and deadlines and everything, that sometimes, it's sometimes the reason why I don't like to write. But by myself, I can write every day. But when it becomes work, you have to deal with publishers and bookstores that hesitate if they want to buy you. Those kind of things can mentally block you. And then you think, well, why don't I do something else? But I love to write and to invent stories. That's basically what I do, to invent stories.
Are there any really practical things you've discovered over the years that you can share?
Well, we talked about having a hobby or a guilty pleasure or whatever. And I think it's really important that what you love very much to do, that you just continue doing that. And when you become a professional creative, in my case, a professional writer, there are other things coming along. It takes away the fun a little bit. So when you're really good at it, just always think what to do with it. I mean, you can keep it to yourself and have fun and let it remain your own guilty pleasure or whatever. Because the minute it becomes public, there are other things you have to deal with.
And then lastly, how does creativity function in your life? By which I mean, what does it give to you? Why is it so important?
I think writing gave me a lot, really, really a lot. Because by character, I'm not the most cheerful person in the world. I can always turn to my imaginary characters in my head, and they have funny lives. There's a lot of humor going on. And when I turn to my stories, I immediately get very happy. So I became a happier person just by